All right, everybody, we should be live now. Hopefully everybody's Sunday's off to a great start. We're going to fly through this one. It's kind of a members-only version of the MLB slate. Who you got for pitching today, young man?
It looks like, for me at least, the pitching options are kind of top-heavy. I'm really only liking the top guys. Darvish, Nola, Greinke, in that order. Sonny Gray probably in that mix as well. I think you can make cases for other guys for sure, but those are really the only guys I feel comfortable with, like, in the least.
Yeah, it's not a pretty slate, is it?
Not at all.
No, none whatsoever. Anybody down cheap? Any idea like what Rich Hill's? Oh, never mind. He's going against Toronto.
Yeah, he got traded. Actually, I don't think the other side of that game with Ross Stripling is crazy, but he has not been good recently. So,
what about Tukey?
Yeah, Tukey is interesting to me. I've always been a fan of his stuff. I liked him a little bit last time out. Was good against the Padres. He'd probably be my guy if I spent down. I'll say that.
I know I'm streaming him in like cut and chucking him in a year-long league today, and he was the best option available. It's not safe, right? I think we know it's not safe, but at 5,900, threw 79 pitches last time, decent strikeout stuff. Phillies, they're not a great matchup, but they do strike out plenty.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. So I do think that he looks like a guy spending down.
I don't hate Caleb Smith, but still don't. Yeah, not excited about it.
I don't hate him either. I mean, he was good last time out. Aside from that one start against the Dodgers, I think you can make rational cases for him.
Yeah, and again, we kind of mentioned it the other day, too. There's no shame in getting hit by the Dodgers. Turns out they're good at baseball.
Yeah, and there's good hitting weather basically everywhere today, so I wouldn't take too much into that.
Okay. Darvish is your favorite, though?
I think Darvish and Nola. I like both of them. Nola has been so much better at home. I know Nola was on a slate I think that I covered last week, and he was in New York. He's been so much better at home. I really feel a lot better with him in Philly. You obviously know Acuna. Yeah, I like Nola quite a bit here. If I can pair him,
good at home thing is not new either.
Yeah, exactly. If I can pair him with Darvish, I think that's the way to go, and I think I'll be able to.
Overall, though, he's kind of been a letdown this year. I'm a Nola fan, but just not inspired by him in the slightest this season.
I completely agree with that.
All right. So as far as hitting goes today, as you mentioned, there's already good hitting weather all over the place. Anything in the Atlanta Philly side of it?
Nah.
Okay. Washington, Baltimore. Remember the early parts of the year where it looked like John Means was like legit, one of the top pitchers in baseball?
Yeah, and that has, I don't want to say it's like fallen off because he's been hurt, but it's fallen off.
It seems like ages ago to me.
Yep.
Anything in this game from an offensive perspective you're targeting?
I think you could make cases for either side offensively here, but I'm just not sure I land there. What do you think about this?
Like, I love Juan Soto, and he's been fantastic. But am I really trying to pay 6,200 for him against John Means, lefty on lefty? No. Like, I like the idea he's super low owned. He's really, really good. I just don't think it's a spot. It's kind of like what we talked about yesterday with Rodon. Great upside, but you have to expect the upside to want to pay the money for him.
For sure, no doubt about it. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to probably go all out on Washington here. Obviously, I think you could do crazier, but there's a lot of worse pitchers on the slate. I'll say that.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably with you on this one. I can make cases for it, but probably not where I'd end up.
Cool.
Sonny Gray versus Oviedo, or I probably forget how to pronounce his last name. We'll just call him Johan.
Yeah, Johan Oviedo. You had it pretty right. Oviedo. Oh. I mean, Oviedo's not very good. Jesse Winker looks good again. I know he homered and doubled last night. He's still pretty affordable. I mean, I don't know. I think Cincy, again, gets a lot of love, and I'm not going to be on Cincy when they're chalky like this.
Makes sense. If you want to play Winker in cash games, then it makes sense. He's very, very affordable. Anything with St. Louis, I would assume not with Sonny Gray on the hill.
I mean, no. He's good enough where I don't need to pick on St. Louis, where I don't need to pick on him here. Their bullpen's so atrocious that, like, are making enough lineups, I'd probably always use guys against the Reds, but nothing in particular about St. Louis here.
Gotcha. And of course, the cheap Cincy guys in the outfield, I would just assume are going to be real popular for cash game players to take a look at them. But also, like, if you're in GPPs and you're rolling with another stack, there's no shame in running like Tyler Naquin in your lineup just to help you fill it out.
Oh, agreed.
San Diego versus Miami. Yu Darvish against Curtis is the opener, and then Hess coming in a little bit later on. How much love do you think San Diego gets today?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think they get an overwhelming amount of love.
Okay. We know it's not a great ballpark, but it would only be for today. And it's kind of one of the same things we mentioned with Toronto all the time. It turns out San Diego's pretty good at playing offense. So if they're on the relatively low end of things, I could understand why you'd go there.
Same. Does remind me a little bit of Toronto yesterday. And they're just good, man. These guys rake. They run. Yeah, I can definitely see getting there.
I know we always talk about some of the best bats in the lineup. I feel like Cronenworth is a guy we barely ever mention. He's a good hitter. Not great like Tatis, but a good player.
Yeah, he's like an underrated guy. He fits so well in their lineup. He doesn't strike out a lot. He puts the ball in play. Like, he's a perfect fit for their lineup. There's a reason he's hitting in between Tatis and Machado.
Heard it here. All right, Rich Hill against Ross Stripling. It was nice to see Toronto play very well against yesterday. Stripling is an interesting guy because this is kind of something that we mentioned when he was going real strong for a while, that he's had moments throughout his MLB career where this guy looked like almost like a front-end type of pitcher. And then reality sets in. And what we've seen the last couple of starts is reality setting in. So you think the Mets get any love today?
I don't know. Probably not. I think probably people just avoid both these spots because there's so many good hitting spots.
Okay. I'll say this about the Mets. They're affordable. When Stripling's been bad, he's been bad for extended periods of time before. So I don't think they're insane. It's hard to get excited about them, but, Dom Smith, Nimmo, Conforto, these guys are all real cheap.
Yeah, agreed. I 100% agree with you on this. I will say, though, even though, again, I don't think, we differ on Rich Hill, but he's not a guy that, like, I go out of my way to stack against. That said, like, I am interested in some one-offs from the Toronto side. Springer is red hot right now, and he's one of these guys that when he gets hot, he's very hot and cold. Teoscar, 2 bombs last night. I could see using either of those guys, honestly.
Also, I mean, Rich Hill isn't exactly a guy who's going to go 7 or 8 innings deep.
Right. Their bullpen's awful right now, too.
So I get that. We know this. We've talked about it for years. I'm the bigger Rich Hill fan, but I'm also a bigger Toronto fan than I am Rich Hill fan. And I don't know who all stacked them yesterday. We talked it over, and almost their entire good portion of their team homered.
And Hill is not in good form right now. I feel like this is a trade that the Mets made because they're so desperate for pitching. It's the only reason.
All right. Yankees, Red Sox. Martin Perez versus Herman.
This is definitely one where I think you could see some offense. The Yankees lineup is still kind of watered down, but I do have interest in Torres and Stanton at very affordable price tags. Torres is red hot. And then I think the whole Boston side's in play. Herman's not been good at all.
Yeah, I get that. Makes a lot of sense. There's also, like you said, there's very affordable pieces of the Yankees here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, the bottom of their lineup's weak right now, but Torres is 3,500 hitting 5th. He's got double digits in like 5 or 6. So he's definitely my favorite piece of the Yankees.
That makes sense a lot. And, Stanton against a lefty.
Yeah, exactly. And then Boston is a full stack, in my opinion, if you want to go there.
I gotcha. Makes sense. All right. Next up, Tampa Bay against Cleveland. McKenzie against Yarbrough. I know you're not a huge McKenzie fan.
No, I'm not. The thing about McKenzie is he's kind of like, last start wasn't really like it, but a lot of times when he gets in trouble, he walks a lot of guys. He got lit up by Houston last time out. I could definitely see going to Tampa, going right back to Tampa.
Yeah, Meadows obviously got going yesterday.
Yeah.
Sure.
He had just missed the day before. I wrote him up as a hard recommend yesterday. I loved him yesterday. Obviously, he was chalky, but he was I felt a big game from him. I think Tampa's definitely in play as a stack, and I'm not sure how much love they get.
For sure. I'm sure you'll double check ownership percentages right before lock and everything like that, or before the write-up, and kind of decide exactly how assertive and aggressive you want to be on them.
Yep.
All right. So Zach Greinke gets to face the Texas Rangers today. And, well, they're not very good. So I get why you like him, but he seems to be third place for you behind Nola and Darvish.
Yes.
Okay. How about the Houston bats?
Yeah, I think they're definitely in play. Taylor Hearn in a week. Houston bullpen or Texas bullpen. Yeah, why not?
I mean, Tucker and Brantley, super affordable. Correa, 4,500. Obviously, Altuve's not cheap, but he's not over the top expensive.
No, he's not. And I wouldn't, like you say a lot, but just play the righties because it's a lefty. I don't think Hearn is long for this game.
No, and the legit, like, there's no part of Texas that's strong. So whether
Yeah.
it's their starters, their bullpen, or their offense, it's all weak.
Yeah, I mean, Houston definitely stands out to me as a possible top stack on this slate, no doubt.
Ownership wise, where do you think most people are going today?
It looks like a lot of people are going to the Reds and Orioles. Those are coming in as the two highest owned stacks.
Okay. Orioles must be more based on the price, I'm assuming, huh?
I definitely see the Reds because they've been chalky and they're also really cheap. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking the Orioles. Not that like they're in a bad spot, but I would have expected teams like Houston and Boston to get more love. Detroit's also getting some love. They've been really good recently.
Yeah, no kidding. They feel like world beaters these days.
Yeah, so we're about to hop on with them. Lynch has not been good. I think Detroit ends up getting a lot of love here.
To say Daniel Lynch hasn't been good is a little bit of an understatement, as he has allowed 18 hits and 14 earned runs over about 8 innings. That is, as you so eloquently put it, not good.
He was getting lit up in the minors too. So, yeah, I mean, Detroit's the side here. I'm not interested in a popular Detroit, though. They have been good, though, man. You mentioned them like a week ago or whenever. Baду, Eric Haas, Grossman. I mean, yeah, I get why they're getting some love.
Right? I mean, Badu's been it's been real good. So again, I understand Detroit. Okay, Detroit or Cincy.
Detroit.
Agreed. I agree. Now, if Cincy was full strength that had Moustakis and everybody else, that'd be different, but they don't.
Yeah, exactly. And Castellanos, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Missing, Moose has been out for a while. Castellanos has been out for a little bit now, two of their better hitters.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Angels against Minnesota. Nice call on Sandoval yesterday.
And he lost a no-hitter with one out in the ninth on a bloop single and then got pulled.
Dude,
And then got pulled. I can't believe Madden pulled him. After he got the next out, he pulled him with 2 outs in the ninth. And then freaking Raisel Iglesias gave up the run. So he had a really good game, like 45 DK points, but it could have been like 60.
Oh, that hurts.
Yes.
How about the Angels? How are they coming in for like ownership?
Looks like they're not getting a ton of love. I was actually looking at both offenses in this game a little bit.
I get that. I'm assuming Minnesota is obviously not going to be very expensive since they don't have a lot of great players these days.
Yeah.
As far as the Angels go, though, especially if like Ohtani's not getting prioritized.
Right. He had 2 hits yesterday. I called that like the day off might help him. 2 doubles.
He's going yard tonight or today.
The problem with the Angels is like just their lineup is so unstackable.
Yeah. I do kind of like the idea of offense in this game, though. You're right. Like just a little bit under the radar.
The thing I was thinking about with the Twins also, like I just mentioned, they got no hit yesterday and then almost tied the game in the ninth. Like, kind of like that for them coming into today,
Yeah, you might get like a Astudillo now that he's back, 2,400 catcher.
They'll have cheap guys, no doubt. And then they still have a couple good hitters, Kepler, Donaldson. I mean, not excited about them, but they're in a good spot against Berea.
Got it. All right, last up, Arizona against Chicago. When is the trade deadline?
I think the 31st.
That's what I thought too. Like, I'm excited to see what kind of action we get this week. Think the Cubs sell off of some assets?
I think the Cubs will sell off some assets. I think it's just kind of the writings on the wall at this point. They haven't been good. They were really good to start the year, and then they've really collapsed since then.
They've been underwhelming for a couple of seasons now.
Yes.
And it is time to start over, it seems like.
They were a dynasty in the making, it seemed like, but they just could have kept on to their pitching. Them dealing you Darvish was kind of like, a team competing. Well, I know the Indians have done that too, but a team competing with money usually doesn't make moves like that. I guess that with money preface is important there. And speaking of the Cubs not being very good, Arizona is one of my one of my favorite offenses on the slate. I'm not a Trevor Williams fan. He gives up hard contact. They got maybe the hottest hitter in baseball right now, too. Dalton Varsho leading off, catcher and outfield eligible. I like this whole lineup. This guy is red hot.
The game log speaks for itself, guys. And it was all started by a game with 2 walks.
Yeah, I love that. And I'd been on him for a little bit because he's, a catcher with outfield eligibility, an outfielder with catcher eligibility, I should say. And so this whole lineup, Escobar at 5,800 is going to get no love. I guess more of a gut call, but good ballpark for them, good weather. Like, I like this. I like the Arizona side here.
Ball pops in Wrigley when it's warm up.
Yep.
All right. So last question before we let people get on their day. If you can make one lineup, sounds like you are trying to get to a combination of Darvish and Nola together.
Yeah.
Okay. And then offensively, knowing that you're going to be a little shorthanded, is there a stack that would be your main one?
Well, I do like Arizona, and the only expensive guy really is Escobar, so that helps. They got cheap guys all over. Cole Calhoun, Asdrubal Cabrera. So I'm looking at Arizona. I like the Angels call a lot. The good hitters are really expensive, though. Minnesota, it's tough right now because still waiting for lineups to come out,
Gotcha. So it sounds like not late night hammers, but a little bit later in the afternoon hammers.
And we just got the Angels lineup, actually. So one guy I can tell you that I'm going to like a lot also, along with the Otanis and Walsh's, is Brandon Marsh. He's probably very, very cheap. This is one of the Angels' better prospects. He hasn't been great since he got called up, but he runs, he's got big speed. He's got some power. And this is a good spot. So, yeah.
And there's guys like him that make it super easy to make a lineup today. Yes. And again, you're probably not going to stack Cincy, but you go back to the guys in the middle of the order in their lineup. You got a cheap catcher. You can get like Astudillo from Minnesota. It's going to be pretty easy to put together these 2 guys.
What sucks is, and I've been noticing this a lot, there's always so much value, but a lot of times it's all in the outfield. All of these really cheap guys are in the outfield, and you can play all of them, but it sucks because then you can't play any good outfielders.
Yeah, that's true. All right, guys. Good luck with your Sunday. Appreciate y'all watching. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.